You good? All rise. December 9, 2013, South Bend Common Council is now in session. Invocation by Vice President Albert Davis.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we ask for your wisdom, guidance, and understanding. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready to read the roll?
No.
But Eddie, this will be, I'm not going to be able to do that tonight.
Mr. Scott.
Present.
Mr. Henry Davis.
Present.
Dr. Varner. Vice President Davis.
Present.
Councilmember White.
Present.
Ehrlich. President Peters.
Present. I'll call me.
President currently present.
Thank you. May I have the report from the subcommittee on minutes?
To the Common Council of the City of South Bend, the subcommittee has inspected the minutes of the November 25th, 2013 meeting of the council and found them to be correct. Therefore, we recommend the same be approved, signed Derek Dieter, David Varner.
So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Under special business, our council attorney will now make an announcement of openings on commissions and boards for the upcoming year.
Pursuant to the South Bend City Code, the City Council has various appointments to the following commissions. The first is the Animal Control Commission. The council needs to appoint one person. That person must be a licensed veterinarian. The Human Rights Commission, we have one appointment to that. The NEWBE Utilization Board, there are 3 appointments which the council makes, and also one joint appointment with Mayor Pete. The Redevelopment Commission, there are 2 appointments. And the Urban Enterprise Association, there are 2 appointments. One must be a business owner in the UEA, the other a resident for the UEA. All the applications can be received from John Gordy's office, the office of the city clerk, or online, and they are due back by Tuesday, December 31st. In the first part of the new year, the council will then be calling to make interviews with anyone who has completed an application. This is also posted on the city's website so that you can get more detailed information about each of those commissions.
Thank you very much. Proceed to the next motion to reset public hearing and second and third readings on Bill 6213. Special Common Council meeting to be held on 12/16/13 at 5 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. We'll proceed to Bill 1384.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, honoring and congratulating the Michiana Pop Warner Little Scholars Junior Bulldogs for winning the Northern Indiana Pop Warner Division III State Championship. Everybody come on.
Whereas the South Bend Common Council notes that Pop Warner Little Scholars, Inc. is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing opportunities for youth football in 42 states in many countries around the world, and is the only national youth sports organization which requires scholastic aptitude to participate in the development of life skills both on and off the football field. And whereas Pop Warner Little Scholars, Inc. has offered 425,000 youth involved ranging from 5 years old to the age of 16 years of age in the largest youth football program in the world, which is dedicated to developing well-rounded young men who learn not only the fundamental of football, but also the importance of education in an atmosphere conducive to developing sound character while having a good time. And whereas Pop Warner Little Scholars, the Pop Warner Little Scholars is named after Glenn Scobie Pop Warner, 1871, he died in 1954, who was the Cornell football team captain, later coached at the University of Georgia Bulldogs as their head football coach, where he earned $34 a week. And he coached at Cornell University, Carlisle, Indiana Industrial School, University of Pittsburgh, Stanford University, and Temple University, earning a career college football record of 319, 106, and 32. Coached 4 national championship teams and was inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame in 1951. And whereas Pop Warner Little Scholars Junior Pee Wee Bulldogs are the Division III team ranging in ages 8 to 12, played against teams from Chesterton, Boone Grove, Highland, Portage, South Lake, and Valparaiso, and won 11-0 and won the Northern Indiana Pop Warner Division III state championship at Maryville High School on November 2nd, 2013. With their undefeated regular season and postseason play of outscoring opponents of margin of 319 to 34.
Wow.
Whereas the Common Council proudly recognizes players, coaches, team mom of the 2013 state championship, Michiana Pop Warner Little Scholars Pee Wee Bulldogs. The team includes Kobe Luster, Nathan Tolley, Jay Luster, Anthony Gomez, Darjan Lewis, Michael Rodemill, Anthony Figueroa, Jeremy Love, Robert Sanders Jr., Dante Galvanez, Joey Rudin, Sidney Jeffries, Cody Luda, Jonathan Forbes, Braden Jellison, Elias Conley, Jaden Barnes, Christian Jackson, Isaiah Hubbard, Tashawn Rondos, Joseph Gomez, Jalen Thomas, Michael McSorley, Gage Luda, and head coach Dan Braswell, assistant Louis Coley, assistant Preston Morris, assistant Mark Wiggle, assistant Jonathan Thomas, assistant LeVar Luster, assistant C.B. Luda, assistant Zachary Jellison, and team mom Elizabeth Root. Now, therefore, it's been resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana as follows. Section 1. On behalf of the citizens of the South Bend, City of South Bend, Indiana, the Common Council is honored to publicly commend and congratulate student athletes, coach, team mom, and 2013 state champion, Michiana Pop Warner Little Scholars Junior Pee Wee Bulldogs for their winning season. Section 2. The council thanks all parents, friends, coaches of the Pop Warner Little Scholars Junior Pee Wee Bulldogs for their guidance in providing leadership, guidance, as well as great opportunity to build character and appreciate hard work in developing skills and talents while having fun. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effective from here and now adopted by the council and approved by the mayor. Now I want to say to you guys, what this means is this is going into the history books. Your names are forever going to be within South Bend. So 100 years from now, people can look up to know that you guys are part of this historic record. So with that, I ask Council for the call.
All right, thank you. Anyone like to speak in favor of this?
Anybody want to speak in favor?
Okay, opposition, seeing none? Go ahead.
I would like to thank everyone that came and support us. I appreciate y'all putting us down in history. This means so much to me and my son. You know, I've changed my life around, come from a rough city, and I want to say we did it, and hopefully we'll do it again next year, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Any comments from the council members?
Congratulations. I think that's always in order. Always try to be a strong advocate for our kids and making sure our youth are presented in a good fashion. There's so much bad stuff about the ones that do bad, we never hear enough about the ones who do well. And so that obviously you guys have done a great job of making a mark and either stretching the standard of what excellence is in this community. We had the young ladies who obviously cheerleading for you guys here the last council meeting. They went off to Florida because they wanted a chance to get the national tournament. Yeah, some information that they placed 16 number 11 out of 16, and so they didn't get the national championship, but they did well, just as well as you guys have. So obviously, Pop Warner is a great asset to this community. And is there anything that I can do from where I sit at? You know, I'm be more than happy and willing to work with you guys. But again, congratulations, and yes, you are in the history books.
Dr. Phillips, great job. Dr. Varner, congratulations again. Vice President Davis,
Very proud of you. It's nice to see young men start off on the right foot, and like you continue to go in that positive direction. Thank all of the older coaches who have set the example, and blessings to you.
congrats, guys.
Congratulations. Continue to study hard, continue to play hard, and we hope to see you back here next year.
Thank you. Well, I congratulate the team and all the young men. First of all, when you get home tonight, make sure you thank your parents, grandparents, whoever helped you buy those cleats and all those gloves that you had to have special for every game throughout the season. Coach Brasso was there when I was coaching, and actually, speaking of history, there's another form of paper in my office from the teams that we had back in the day, and I'm going to look forward because I think that there are probably at least 10 kids that I had coached are now playing college football, and I think that all of you guys have the potential. So in 4, 5, 6 more years, maybe a little more, we'll be looking for you guys playing college football, representing South Bend, and doing all the positive things. So again, thanks all the parents for getting the kids all the practices, everything that entails. It's a lot of work that goes into doing this. So again, I appreciate that, and therefore, I would ask that we adopt this by acclamation. All in favor? Lineman, congratulations. Cornerback, congratulations. That's not a big shot. What do you, quarterback? Great job. That picture looks like you don't know the names. I'd like to make an announcement representing the city administration tonight is Mark Neal. At this point, we do not have a report of city offices today. No quick announcement.
I would like to welcome two members of the Elkhart City Council. Oh, really? With us, the president and Mr. Robinson. Could you please stand? Thank you for coming and joining us tonight. Thank you.
Do we have any motion to resolve in the committee of the whole?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Very well. You can carry.
He's with me. Yeah. Oh, these kids come over to get them. I'm going to have to talk to them. Yeah.
The Committee of the Whole is now in session. This is the portion of the council meeting where bills are given a second reading, public hearing, and a recommendation is made that will be sent to the full council. You will hear from the committee chairperson regarding the committee meeting that was held this afternoon. At this time, Mr. Vorty, will you please give second reading to Bill 65-13, please?
Public hearing on the bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 4, Article 4 of the South Bend Municipal Code by the inclusion of new Sections 4-21 entitled Buskers and Sidewalk Performers.
We'd like to entertain a motion to hear the substitute version of this bill.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, I hear your vote.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries. Is there a committee report?
Madam Chair, there was a combined committee report on personnel finance and public health and public safety. Substitute bill 6513 comes to council for favorable recommendation.
Thank you. We do have a presenter that's standing before us. That's that you state your name and address and give us a summary of the substitute bill that is before the council.
Yes, thank you, Council. My name is Tim Scott, 711 Forest Avenue, South Bend, Indiana, 46616. I have a few people to help me with my presentation. What is busking? Busking is basically artistic free speech that is in our cities around the country, on our street performing, and is key to the livelihood and cultural enhancement to our cities. So, with that, this is what you might hear within our city.
These are my people.
Oh, great.
It might not all be banjo and fiddle, but so the idea of busking is to be able to allow them to perform on streets and for the street performers to actually collect money, which would not go against our panhandling ordinance. So, just quickly, I'll go through the presentation. The permitting is $20 per calendar year. You would follow that with the city controllers, and basically it would be name, address, telephone number, email, ID, of course, and we're saying groups. Our performers for performance as groups, so everybody's name would be listed on the permit that could perform. Minors would have to consent of their parent or legal guardian, and basically a description of the performance that they're doing. Spots within the city are basically first come, first serve, or first play. So we would have a permit that would be present. You'd either wear it or have it located in public where everybody could see. You can see here's a sample of a permit. The idea is with DTSB, we have contests once a year to create a new creative artistic visual rendition of the permit. So it'd be cool to look at. So you don't have just some city plain permit out there. It'd be something, and then we'd have a contest once a year to promote that and have a new permit each year. The location, it would be within the South Bend Central Business District area. And if it's successful, we might be able to expand it beyond and go citywide. I would bring this back before you in council in August of 2014 to see how it's going, if it's working, if it's not working, and if there's interest in expanding citywide. So, just a few rules on busking. No equipment, no items to obstruct the safety and movement of pedestrians. Basically, people need to be able to freely move along the sidewalks, can't block the vision of any traffic around, no platform stages, and equipment can't be left attended. Again, you can't block the public walkway. Police can disperse crowds if crowds get too big, which would be kind of a nice problem to have, but they would be able to free up the sidewalk and move things along. So, no extension cords basically based on safety, but you could use powered mics or speakers. The other thing is, as long as the equipment is compliant with the advertising with music for commercial use is prohibited. So you couldn't use music and do like a whole sales pitch trying to sell, say, gutters or, footballs or whatever. The hours for busking would be Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. During the weekends, it would be Friday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. If there's any days that are needed for special events, say Art Beat or that downtown, a notice would go out stating that there are exceptions to the rule, so you might not be able to busk on the same day. That sidewalks are needed for other special events. There again, 72-hour notice. Buskers may accept monetary donations while performing, but they can be aggressive and reckless in their pursuit of tips. And no performance within 20 feet of any street corner, marked crosswalks, building entrances, driveways, curb cutouts, outdoor eating areas, which we've heard from the restaurants, they're in agreement with being 20 feet away. We've seen other bills where they were within 10 feet. We thought maybe that was a little too close, so 20 feet would be better. And you can't be 50 feet from any other busker. There's no marked spot within the Central Business District, but just 50 feet away, give everybody their chance to do their own art. Kind of turned. That is the Central Business District. As we stated earlier, I'll try to blow it up a little bit. You can see it runs up LaSalle, mainly to downtown, over to Taylor. It does go on the east side, and then down south a little bit. So, penalties if any of the rules are broken. $100 for the first violation, $250 for second, $500 for the third. You can pay through the Ordinance Violation Bureau up to $250. And that is all I have for now. I do have members from DTSB here if you have any other questions.
Council members, do you have any questions of the presenter as it pertains to the bill that's before us? Councilmember Davis?
Thank you. Tim, thank you for your presentation. 20 feet away from the front door, my recollection of all the downtown is where the traffic actually happens as usually down Michigan Street. With the 20 feet away from the door, that will make it virtually impossible for folks to perform where the traffic is actually at. So where do you have in mind where these folks will probably have an opportunity to play their instruments or do their performances? Because all of that is like storefront all the way through, actually.
20 feet if you went north just of Chocolate Cafe, there's plenty of spots along there. Just around the corner at Washington, there's the small park on the sidewalk outside the small park at Jefferson in Michigan. I think there's plenty of areas throughout the city, or throughout the Central Business District.
Okay, now, it's a first come, first served basis, and this is a question about people being attached to certain areas and corners. We brought up earlier about how there are already people out doing this, and the fee being attached to it is something that I'm still, looking at. But if I'm like used to this corner, do I get shared to this corner when I want to have it, or it's just when I show up?
No, when you show up for that day.
And the $20 fee goes to what? I mean, obviously for the permit, but who collects that fee and what fund is that going to?
Controller's office collects the fee goes into the general fund.
Is there any way that we could potentially earmark that money maybe for downtown South Bend, for more programming, or earmark it for more enforcement of this law? Just don't let it go to the general fund and just swallow it up. Maybe there's an opportunity to earmark for something that potentially enhance.
It isn't something I thought of that might be a consideration. I think what we could do is reassess in August and take that in consideration.
Okay, my last question, I still have an issue, a concern with the level of enforcement for this. I just, I need to feel comfortable in the level of enforcement. And so how many officers are going to be available? How often do they walk the beat in that area? How often will we see these DT, downtown South Bend ambassadors? I'm really not comfortable with that aspect more than anything else. Just the level of enforcement. We've had our fair share of problems with panhandlers and homeless folks, and just et cetera. And this could potentially help downgrade or solidify that perception that's out there about downtown being unsafe.
Ask Aaron Perry to probably or Joel to comment as well. My thought is right now Boston is kind of in limbo. There is nothing on the books that says you can do it or can't do it. If we strictly enforced it, it would be considered part of the panhandling because if someone collected money. So I think in the good spirit of the artistic endeavor that people who are interested in doing this, the $20 fee puts the guidelines out there exactly what they want to do. And also, I think the guidelines are needed to be there so people who come downtown have a good experience. So, there are limitations and guidelines on what they can do. So we want people to have a good experience. We want the artists to have a good experience. And we don't want a gray area to spell out between panhandling and Boston. And Joel, maybe you can speak a little bit. I talked to the police chief and also DTSB about their support for this as well, and their support to be able to enforce any panhandling issues.
Joel Barry, 1122 Allen Street, South Bend, Indiana. As the general manager of the Ambassador Program in downtown South Bend, the ambassadors are trained to deal with all kinds of people that come downtown, anything from someone that belongs there to nuisance people that may be down there. We have people on staff 24/7. And I have ambassadors that are on duty, all hours of the day, anywhere from 1 to 5 ambassadors, 6 at different times. What we typically do is we're usually the first ones to see anything that's happening downtown. So my ambassadors learn how to approach people, ask a few questions, find out if it's somebody that doesn't belong down there. We generally ask them to move on. Usually that works. If it doesn't, then the second course is just to, usually we'll go into, we have a very close relationship with the police department. Give them a call. They're always very responsive, and we take care of these problems pretty quickly. I view the busker as really a real asset to downtown South Bend. I don't see that as being a lot of problem potential there. I think actually it would discourage some of the if there was a panhandling issue going on, I think having someone out there playing music, usually I think that would discourage the panhandling issues that we sometimes have. But I'd just like to assure that the ambassadors deal very closely with the police department and know how to deal with the people that come downtown.
Are there any other questions from council members of the petitioner? If not, we'll move to the public hearing portion unless you have other individuals that are part of your presentation.
No.
At this time, is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Substitute Bill 65-13? We ask that you come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Aaron Perry, downtown South Bend, 217 South Michigan. Downtown South Bend is extremely supportive of this bill that's in front of you. We've talked to all the business owners in downtown, from the large businesses, the banks, and the law firms, all the way down to the small coffee shops, so on and so forth. They provided some great input to an already nice piece of legislation that Tim has worked on. And I know he's benchmarked many cities where this has been quite successful and vibrant for the downtown. Those business owners provided some feedback that helped strengthen the bill, and we're enthusiastic about the vibrancy that all kinds of performance art will add to the streets of downtown.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present wishing to speak in support of Substitute Bill 65-13?
Christopher Huff, 1831 College Street, South Bend. I'm very much in favor of this ordinance. As our council representative indicated, it's not regulated at all. But what is regulated downtown on the streets is something very negative, perceived by the public as very negative, and those are panhandlers. This is something very positive. The more positive energy downtown, the better off our community is going to be. Many successful communities, quality communities in this country allow this sort of function. In virtually every city in Europe, if anybody's ever been over there, they all do it everywhere. It's very high quality stuff, done very, very well. So the more energy downtown, the better. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. At this time, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing no one, the public hearing portion is now closed.
Move for favorable recommendation. Second.
Substitute bill.
Substitute.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion might hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed? Substitute Bill 65-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Thank you so much. Mr. Vordy, will you please give second reading to Bill 68-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 9, Article 5 of the South Bend Municipal Code addressing hazardous materials and tactical rescue teams.
Thank you. The Health and Public Safety Committee held a public hearing on Bill 68-13, and we send this bill to the council with a favorable recommendation. We do have a presenter that's before us. We ask that you state your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Jim Lopez. I'm the Operations Chief for the South Bend Fire Department, 1222 South Michigan Street, South Bend, Indiana.
Will you give us a summary of Bill 68-13?
In 1998, the South Bend Fire Department, with the guidance of Chief Luther Taylor, developed a program. If our hazmat team went out on a response, we could recoup at least our costs for material and equipment. This bill, or this proposal, has never been updated since its inception in 1998. We're asking for a favorable recommendation to make a couple changes to this proposal to improve our response.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions of the presenter? Thank you so much. We'll now move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 68-13? Anyone wishing to speak in support of this bill? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed.
Move for favorable recommendation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote?
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 68-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
I'd like to make a motion to continue 69-13 to 1-13-14. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
For the benefit of the council, immediately after the close of all the standing committees this afternoon, I had a conversation with Police Chief Teachman, and there are various items that we would like to further improve the recommendation that you've given us. So with that additional time, we'll be able to have that session.
Thank you. We have a motion, and I believe that we have a second as well. All those in favor of the motion that this bill be continued, may I hear your vote? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Mr. Vorty, will you please give second reading to Bill 71-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and city service operations in 2013 of $90,000 from Parks and Recreation Fund. That's right, number 201. $16 from Department of Community Investment Grant Fund, number 213. $675 from Liability Insurance and Premium Reserve Fund, number 226. $750,000 from Loss Recovery Fund, number 227. $37,378 from Human Rights Grant Fund, number 258. $30 from Economic Development Revenue Bond Fund, number 281. $450,000 from EMS Capital Improvement Fund, number 288. $475,000 from County Option Income Tax Fund, number 404, and $700,000 from Self-Funded Employee Benefit Fund, number 711.
Thank you. Is there a committee report?
Madam Chair, the Public Works Personnel and Finance Committee had a public hearing on Bill 7113 this afternoon. It comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. We do,
Yes, for the record, the listing on the agenda is Fund 213, but the ordinance indeed lists 212, and I believe 212 is correct.
okay. Thank you.
Move to amend it as needed.
No, the ordinance is
all right.
just the agenda. Heather,
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you. We do have a presenter before us. We ask that you state your name and address and to give us a summary of Bill 71-13.
Good evening, Council. Mark Neal, City Controller with offices on the 12th floor of this building. Bill 7113 before you is an appropriation for additional funds for the civil city. Just to summarize some of those additions, these are funds that remind people that we come before you typically twice a year as we look through our budgets to make sure that we are in full compliance and have your authorization approval for spending for the city. These end-of-year funds have come about through our various fiscal officers reviewing their finances for the year and looking at issues that have come up during the year that were unexpected or an effort to address an issue that's come before us that we're looking to settle. So if I could summarize them quickly, the funding in the COIT fund primarily related to receipt of tax revenues in the CREEP fund, which was lower than expected. We've identified an issue with the state and are looking to work with them to address that. But at this point in time, our 2013 receipts are below what was originally estimated. And while we get that corrected in 2014, we would ask for your approval for the additional monies from the COIT funds so we can make the debt service payment that's due this month. With the expectation those monies will be returned to the COIT fund. EMS fund 288, spending on some used fire trucks, which we've talked about earlier this year with you when we found some opportunities. Chief Cox and his team identified some very good purchases, an aerial ladder truck as well as a pumper truck that we purchased. Additionally, there's some small adjustments in the economic revenue bond, just to clean up some accounts for $30 and $16 from the grant fund that Council Attorney Sikansky Farron just noted. Within the Loss Recovery Fund, we've highlighted, Public Works Director Horvath has highlighted the issue we have in our organic resources site, which we have for 100,000 cubic yards of material that we need to move. Initially, the cost was as high as $3 million to do that. We've worked out an arrangement with Waste Management to use the landfill to dispose of that free of charge, but we do need to pay for the trucking. And that expectation there is at $600,000. We also have a $150,000 request to address the situation at the New Energy Plant regarding the wells and looking for a more permanent solution to the situation there. And Chief, Deputy Director Horvath has worked diligently in doing that in a cost-effective manner hopeful that this will take care of it. If it does not, we'll be back before you, make sure we do have a complete solution to the situation as we continue to work with the new owners. There's a funding for the health insurance fund. Costs are been higher than expected here in the fourth quarter. We've talked about the challenges in health insurance. We'll be looking to continue to work with you on that in 2014 as we have the last 2 years. As we continue to provide coverage to all of our employees, we want to make sure we're doing it in a cost-effective but appropriate manner, particularly as we focus on wellness initiatives. Human Rights Fund, addressing some federal grant money that expires this year. We've identified some clear opportunities to spend that money as intended by, in terms of that grant led by Lonnie Douglas at the Human Rights Commission. And we also have a request for monies for the Liability Insurance Fund. As you all know, we have claims against the city. Some of those claims can take some period of time to resolve. We've had some good fortune this year resolving some claims long outstanding for amounts that were less than what was anticipated, but they did occur this year, in addition to some other things we had expected. And so we do need the additional monies appropriated with the expectation, particularly for 2 properties that were sold on Fellow Street earlier this year, that we would sell them in 2014 and replenish the fund about $200,000 for that. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit later, one of the ordinances addressing the city's administration's efforts in coordination and cooperation with the council in support of the public-private partnership Potawatomi Zoo. In anticipation that that would go forward, we've asked for an appropriation of additional $90,000 to cover employment costs as part of that public-private partnership.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any questions? Council member Davis?
Sure, thank you. Human Rights Commission, you said something about a grant. Is there any thought what they're going to do with that?
Yes, as they went through the program this year, Lonnie Douglas, the director, identified there were some opportunities for us to do additional advertising of the resources with the Human Rights Commission. In addition, there is the desire to update our web presence, and so he's doing some work on the website. And finally, he was looking for some additional marketing materials as he continues to promote the programs. And so, consistent with that grant, that we should in fact be promoting the Human Rights Commission and its work here in the city. And because you know there's some ancillary work that's done with members from outside the community. So those funds are being utilized as expected in that grant. And they're expiring this year, so the reason why he's looking for that focus this year for the remaining amounts.
And I'm glad you put that out there. The work outside of South Bend, we've talked about this in the past, and I'm still wanting to know, are we leaning towards any effort of making sure making this a county-wide action versus being a city of South Bend action? Because we're bearing the cost. Right. And so many of the folks that use the services are obviously from outside of the city, a great deal of them. So are we going to be working towards that since we're marketing it out there, we're asking them to come in, but we're folks in South Bend are obviously carrying the cost?
Excellent point, Councilmember Davis. Mr. Douglas has had conversations with the city of Mishawaka that has provided some funds already. We are looking to have them participate at a higher level, and looking to do that as a precursor to us talking with the county to look for some additional county support for the efforts of the Human Rights Commission. So, absolutely agree with you.
Are there any other questions that council members have regarding this bill? If not, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Thank you. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 71-13? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing is now closed.
Move for favorable recommendation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, I hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 71-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Vorty, will you please give second reading to Bill 72-13, please?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and enterprise operations in 2013 of $294,344 from Solid Waste Fund number 610, $84,000 from Solid Waste Depreciation Fund number 611, $418,872 from Sewage Works General Operations Fund 641, $418,872 from Sewage Works Capital Fund, $642. $13 from 2006 Sewer Bond Fund, $645. $63 from 2007 Sewer Bond Fund, number 647. $699 from Clay Sewage Works Bond Operations Fund, number 650. $113 from 2007 Sewer Bond Fund, 651. $331 from 2010 Sewer Bond Fund, 658. $2,100,000 from 2013 Sewer Bond Fund, 663, and $215 from 2013 Sewer Refunding Bond Fund, number 664.
Thank you. Is there a committee report?
Yes, Madam Chair, the Personnel Finance Committee had a public hearing on Bill 7213 this afternoon. It comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
We will ask our city financial fiscal officer to come and to state your name and address and give us a summary of Bill 72-13.
Thank you, Councilman Whitman. Mark Neal, City Controller, also control for this building. This appropriation bill is for the enterprise funds for the public to know that enterprise funds are treated separately because they're utility funds, so separate from the civil city funds. So we do need to make a separate request appropriation to the council. The good news here is that while in the last bill we were looking for additional spending for things that we've identified as being appropriate, thank you for your indication on that. This bill actually has a net reduction of almost $1.9 million in spending for 2013. There was a bond that we did not issue as we continue to work on making sure that we're providing the most cost-efficient and effective sewer systems. We work on combined sewer plants, so there was no bond issued in 2013, so a significant savings, over $2 million in bond costs to the city. From the other items that are here, we had a change in our fixed asset policy, which we've discussed before, in which we now have a minimum threshold of $10,000 consistent with many other organizations, both public and private, and therefore have a request in which we're taking some capital funds in which we're not spending and instead spending it in some operating funds. So those offset each other. The two additional amounts that we're asking for are there's about $210,344 in the solid waste fund as we purchase some additional bins to be distributed to citizens who do not have bins. We've purchased additional bins earlier this year. We've distributed almost all of them. I think there are less than 100 left. So we're ordering some additional bins. Also employing some additional technology within our solid waste, our trash service, in which there'll be radio frequency tags placed on the bins, as well as the radio frequency meters within each of the trash trucks. The effort there is for us to very clearly map schedules, or rather routes and pickups, so that we can make sure that we're doing our best job in providing timely and efficient trash service for citizens. So we're making an investment in some additional equipment there. And then, in addition to that, there's an adjustment as there's a budgeting component here. We have a note there, $31,000 additional funding needed. It says to cover a 13th month of repairs. We, as I think Council is aware, we allocate costs on a monthly basis, and we've been 1 month in arrears on that for the last couple of years. And good fiscal practice, we should be timely on that. So there's 1 year. This is the year where we have a 13th payment. This is the year we're doing that. So we have that also here in the schedule. Please think of that as a timing issue, not as an additional spending issue. But again, the net result is actually a reduction in spending for 2013 in our enterprise funds.
Okay, thank you. Council members, do you have any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 72-13? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed.
Move for favorable recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, any opposed? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 72-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Voidy, will you please give second reading to Bill 73-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana for budget transfers for various departments within the City of South Bend, Indiana for the year 2013.
Is there a committee report?
Madam Chair, the Personnel and Finance Committee had a public hearing on Bill 7313 this afternoon. It comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
Do we have a presenter?
Yes, again, Mark Neal, City Controller, also on the 12th floor of this building. Appreciate the council's patience here as we go through some of the year-end efforts that we always do to make sure that our budgets and our accounts are in good order, prepare for the annual audit that takes place in the first quarter of a fiscal year for the preceding year. The Bill 7313 is a request for transfers of monies. All the fiscal officers of the city go through all of their accounts to identify if there are any issues in which certain funds may have been budgeted in one category, but during the course of the year they identified a need to use those monies elsewhere. It could be typically it's an operations and maintenance issue. It may be a capital purchase in which they're spending money. So as we continue to look for opportunities to be more efficient, providing services to our citizens and to residents of the city. And the net effect is that there's no additional spending. It's simply outlining transfers within accounts, within funds, as managed by each of the department heads and each of their fiscal officers. So we'd be happy to address any of the questions that you might have.
Are there any questions? Thank you so much for your presentation. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 73-13? Anyone present? Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing is now closed.
Move for a favorable recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, I hear your vote. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 73-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Doherty, will you please give second reading to Bill 74-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the 2013 salary ordinance number 10199-12 for appointed officers and non-bargaining employees of the City of South Bend, Indiana to address certain zoo employee compensation.
Is there a committee report?
Madam Chair, the Personnel and Finance Committee had a public hearing on Bill 7413 this afternoon. It comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
And we have the presenter that's who's before us.
Bill 7413.
Just state your name and address, please.
Mark Neal, City Controller, Office on the 12th floor of this building. Bill 7413 is related to our city staff council is quite familiar with. For the public, the city sets a fixed maximum salary that can be paid for any employee of the city during the course of a given fiscal year. That may not exceed that amount. Bill 7413 envisions that the city, both the administration in again, cooperation with council, speaking with the Zoological Society, the Potawatomi Zoological Society about a potential public-private partnership. There are some representatives here from the Zoological Society this evening. We have been in very active conversations with them in negotiations to put together a public-private partnership agreement that fulfills, I think, the identified key issues of both Mayor Peeve and the city administration as well as the council, which is that we are looking to make the Potawatomi Zoo the best zoo it can possibly be, a resource that we treasure and would like to continue to improve and use both from economic development but also from a resident and visitor's pleasure standpoint to visit. In addition, we want to make sure it's done hopefully in a way that the city can reduce its annual appropriation for the zoo, and then finally to make sure that any public-private partnership that we may enter into will be done with great fairness to the city employees who are currently there working at the zoo, so diligently. The ordinance before you envisions that should that public-private partnership take place, that we would look to make a one-time payment of all the accrued vacation and accrued sick time for those zoo employees who would be going to the Zoological Society. In addition, that for those employees with less than 10 years of service, if they was leaving the city employment to go to the Zoological Society, would be paid $750 for each year of service or prorated for a portion of the year's service to reflect that otherwise would be a benefit of their pension 20, 30, or 40 years from now. We had done a study to make sure that we looked at what the value of that would be and what we contributed up until now, and what that would be in the present value terms, if I can put it that way. And this amount is a bit above what would otherwise be a reasonable present value calculation of these contributions that we pay for those employees with less than 10 years of service or not vested. Would highlight for those employees with 5 to 10 years of service as envisioned that they would continue to be city employees until they can be full pension vested. That's our intention. So we'll look for your favorable
Council members, do you have any questions? Thank you. We'll now move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 74-13? Anyone wishing to speak in support? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing is now closed.
Move for favorable recommendation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 74-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Voidy, will you please give second reading to Bill 75-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending 2014 salary ordinance number 10266-13 for appointed officers and non-bargaining employees of the City of South Bend.
Make
Do you have a motion to give a substitute version?
Yes, I was going to do. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Is there a committee meeting? Committee?
Yes, it is, Madam Chair. The Personnel and Finance Committee had a public hearing on substitute bill 75-13 this afternoon. It comes to council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. Do you have a presenter?
Mark Neal, City Controller, offices in the 12th floor of this building. Bill 75-13 is the last bill I'll be bringing in front of you, I think, this evening. Again, this is related to the salary ordinance. We previously discussed the 2013 salary ordinance. This bill relates to the 2014 salary ordinance. After passage of the budget, we went through our usual effort to identify all increases and changes for 2014. In going through that, we identified some Scrivener's errors and some items that we budgeted in the budget document, but did not carry over completely accurately to the salary ordinance document. So the effect of 75-13 is to correct the couple of Scrivener errors and inconsistencies between positions and dollars of the salary ordinance versus the budget. I'd like to be clear that there's no additional appropriation in the 2014 salary ordinance that's requested. Is simply correcting those errors that were not caught as we transferred from the budget documents into the salary ordinance. So I do apologize for the request here of having to review it, but I think we have it in very good order right now. As I think we struck it pretty carefully.
Thank you so much. At this time, we'll move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Substitute Bill 75-13? Anyone present? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed.
Move for favorable recommendation. Second.
It's been moved and seconded regarding Substitute Bill 75-13. All those in favor of the motion? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Substitute Bill 75-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Voidy, will you please give second reading to Bill 76-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the legal description and map within ordinance number 10165-12 to expand the boundaries of the existing riverfront development project area under Indiana Code 7.1-3-20-16.
Thank you. Do we have a committee report?
Madam Chair, the Community Investment Committee met today, and we sent this bill forward with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you. And do we have a presenter?
We do. Gavin Froelich, 1109 Dewey Avenue. First, I'd like to thank co-sponsors Tim Scott and Fred Froelich for their help with this. This expansion is something that the Riverfront Development Committee recommended, and it's essentially taking advantage of the full capabilities of this ordinance for downtown. With that, I will pass it to Chris Dressel.
Good evening, council members. My name is Chris Dressel, representing the Department of Community Investment with offices on the 14th floor of this building. And I've got a quick presentation for you regarding the Riverfront Development Project Area Expansion Ordinance. Just an overview, the ordinance permits the acquisition of 3-way liquor licenses for eligible establishments for a discounted cost of $1,000. It's a way to spur development along the St. Joseph River. The focus of the operation must be dining, entertainment, or cultural experience rather than just an alcohol consumption experience. So that entails use of glass containers, serving on counters, tables. Non-smoking establishment, with the exception of upscale cigar lounge. No private clubs, nightclubs, or adult entertainment venues. Thus far, since the ordinance of the district was first set up in June of 2012, there have been 5 licenses issued, with 2 additional licenses anticipated before the end of the year. And the desire here is to pursue expansion of the furthest extent for the foreseeable future and avoid repeat requests to the council. The 2 main or overriding expansion area factors per the ordinance. Number 1 is the establishment must be located within 1,500 feet of the river's edge, and that's the red line on the map. And what we did here is we further explored the language of the ordinance and allowed by considering that there's some undevelopable properties or parcels adjacent to the river and some floodplain areas that extend slightly beyond the borders of the river. We were able to make some mild adjustments to those boundaries. And the second factor for permitting the expansion is the existence of a potential development area, and then we have 3 that come into play here near the river. We have the northeast neighborhood development area shown in brown, the south and central development area in blue, and the airport economic development area in green. So we've got breakdown of the 2 segments for these proposed expansion areas. One is the South and Central Development of the downtown expansion area, and this is just to the west and southwest of downtown. Are shown as neon blue properties. The opportunity to incentivize future development opportunities along the Smart Street initiative sites, including the Lafayette Main Street corridors. And then there's also some properties within or adjacent to the Monroe Park neighborhood. Second section is the airport economic development area, and it's south of Sample Street, generally bounded by Miami Broadway and High Street, located across from the river, and across from the Farmers Market District across the river. And this incentivizes future development opportunities just on the Lincoln Way East corridor between Sample and Miami. And as I said, we have a couple of potential applicants, at least one of which you'll be hearing from soon. We've identified Lang Lab and Crooked as those that could potentially or have some interest in taking advantage of the discounted license. So this is a look at what the proposed revised area boundary would look like with the passage of this ordinance, and we ask for your support there, and be happy to take any questions you might have.
Council members, do you have any questions? Councilmember Scott?
No, ma'am.
Councilmember Davis?
Sure. Thank you for your presentation. Do you have any figures on what the vacancy rate is for downtown, as far as storefronts, buildings, etc.?
Councilman Davis, I do not. Compared to the 12%.
We're only at 12%.
You would come to the podium?
Yes. So 88% of the buildings downtown area in that map are occupied.
We're talking ground floor, storefront ones, correct. That would be correct. 88% are occupied. If you start going up second, third floor, some of the office spaces, that occupancy rate's lower.
Okay, so do you have the number for that?
That's about 74%, I think, last time we checked the BOMA reports.
I'll just comment later on.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Fuller? Any other council members? Thank you so much. Is there anyone else as part of your presentation? At this time, we move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 76-13? I'll ask you to come to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Good evening, my name is Rami. I live in 19543 Garden Road. Sorry for having to listen to the presentation one more time. We are located on 1302 High Street. That is closest to where Lincolnwood Farmers Market is. This bill would help us immensely. If you allow me, I'll just go through what LimeLab has been doing for the last 3 years, and maybe that would help. LimeLab is 33,000 square feet of space. When we started, the whole point was to see if we could do something that would be sustainable, but in a way that we, the people working there, are able to keep it sustained. So we try to keep everything in-house and going steadily, growing slowly, and getting somewhere eventually. We started our performance aspect of LimeLab 3.5 years ago. Since then, we've had 65 shows, 150 artists, local, regional, national, and international. We average about a show every 2 to 3 weeks. We have a theater component. We've had 6 productions, averaging about in theater for 2.5 years, 1 every 5 months. We have a gallery series. The galleries, we opened it up about 1.5 years ago, and we have since had 4 exhibits, 2 local artists, solo shows, 1 international artist with a solo show, and a community gallery that included the first 40 members of the community to present pieces of art. We presently incubate 6 small businesses, 3 yoga studios, a dance troupe, Dance for Life Productions, which is dance instruction, and coffee roasters and cafe. We also house our sister not-for-profit, Ultrea, which is a not-for-profit concerned with arts and arts education. We have 11 DBAs doing business as ceramicists, printmakers, paper makers, opera singer. And then ultimately, LimeLab is a community space. We've had fundraisers for other not-for-profit organizations, for schools, churches. We've had all sorts of gatherings. We've had 3 wedding receptions, 2 wedding rehearsals, and 1 wedding in LimeLab. The reason why this immensely helped us is that we put things in perspective. Opening a concert series since our inception, we've paid over $13,000 in permits and police presence for every show. Our offerings would expand greatly if we had the ability to offer alcohol without having to go through the arithmetic of the people showing up, to the permits, etc., etc. The other thing is most of our shows are all ages. In fact, all our shows are all ages. Our approach to the whole idea of alcohol is not really to open up another tavern or whatnot, but it's something that would give us more externalities to what we need to do. Just by way of example, we hosted Green Drinks 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. We could do more of that if we had the ability to serve the alcohol.
Okay.
So we really like the idea.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else present wishing to speak in support of Bill 76-13? Rest of you come to the podium at this time.
Mr. Prof, 1831 College Street, South Bend. By proactively changing ordinances such as this simple finding, if you will, and which are based on what are really basically solid business drivers and functions, we welcome and open our arms to yet an even greater variety of interesting businesses and interesting functions within our city center. Again, adding more synergy to our community. So this proposal, as I see it, is strategically a good way to keep the doors wide open to good investment.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in support of this bill? I'm going to ask everyone to please come to the podium at this time if you wish to speak in support of this bill.
Dave Gates Jr., 1009 Lincoln Way East, South Bend, Indiana, 46601. I have a letter for everyone. If I could let me know.
Pass it to City Clerk John Bordy, please.
We're in favor of this expansion as well. We're located right across the river. Current business operating out of our staffing firm. Our intent is to not down the building. A larger facility, a two-story with a rooftop, kind of an upscale wine bar. Around the corner there, a sample of Lincoln Way. So it's the old Spring building. It's the old main building. It's right on the river. We want that expanded for that purpose.
Thank you.
Mike Blackman, 22922 Adams Road, South Bend, Indiana. With the winery, we would like to help beautify our East Gateway. I believe that Lincoln Way East is a gateway from Mishawaka Canal Turn to help bring patrons and business into our community, as well as create jobs for them.
Thank you so much. Anyone else wishing to speak in support?
Ernest Berry with Downtown South Bend, opposite 217 South Michigan. Just like to add that this has been a successful piece of legislation in that perspective in Downtown South Bend. I chair the Riverfront Development District Licensing Committee. It's been a very smooth process, and thank you for your support of that the first time around, and thank you for your consideration this time around.
Thank you. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition to this bill? Seeing no one, the public hearing portion is closed.
Move for favorable recommendations.
I do believe that a council member wanted to make some comments, so I'm going to give him an opportunity to make comments, and then we'll take action on the motion before. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to, reiterate my points that I made earlier. Not that I'm not in favor of this, because obviously this is something that I helped initiate in very beginning in its infancy. But what I want to make sure and make clear is that as we're moving about this whole new ounce of downtown and all this great energy that's happening, let's not forget that being a cool and hip place can also be incongruent with the family environment. And what I mean by that is a lot of bars and establishments may not promote the other side of what South Bend is welcoming to as well. And so, as we continue to develop this downtown idea, whatever it is, I'm still trying to figure it out. Make sure that we're not only just putting up, these liquor licenses as the only incentive for businesses to come in. I'm hearing about whiskey bars, I'm hearing about wine bars, I'm hearing about alcoholic beverages that you could possibly drink, which I think is fine. Again, I'm not, against that. But there's another side to it, and it just seems like that, there's almost like this approach to let's see what happens type thing, and what's going to grow, because we're doing condos now. I'm still trying to figure out, who has the money to pay for a $400,000 condo. I don't know those people. And so you have that, and then you have this thing. So it's almost boutique-ish, which is almost consistent with the population and the medium household income here in South Bend. So I don't know where exactly we're going with it. I just hope that we're going to be a little bit more responsible as we go about it, and our efforts are not as expedient as they have been. It just seems like we're dropping legislation to do busing, we're dropping legislation to do this, and it's all centered in the downtown. And so after it unfolds, are we going to be able to maintain a safe environment for everybody? And so I don't know that right now, but hopefully, we are paying attention to what we're doing.
Thank you. We do have a motion on the table and it's been seconded. All those in favor of, in support of Bill 76-13, may I hear your vote? Aye. Those opposed? The motion carries. Bill 76-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Mr. Boyd, will you please give second reading to Bill 67-13?
Public hearing on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, setting the final interfund loan amortization schedules for Major Moves Fund 412, advances to the Northeast Residential TIF Fund 436 in connection with Kenny Street Commons and the Triangle Development Project.
Is there a committee report? Public Works, sir.
Public Works.
Public Works.
Public Works. Public Works. We had a committee this afternoon, and we bring 6713 to the full council for a report.
Thank you so much.
Sorry for the delay.
We do have a presenter who is before us. We ask that you state your name and address for the record and give us a summary
Controller with Office of
of Bill 67-13.
Thank you. I wanted to present this bill. It's a bill to revise and finalize the amortization schedules from a loan from Major Moves Fund 412 to the Northeast TIF District. Back in 2008, the City of South Bend played an important role in getting the Eddy Street Common Triangle Development Project going. At that time, the Common Council appropriated $5.3 million out of Major Moves, but it was important for the Council to have a mechanism for repayment of their investment once the tax increment fund was set up and started to go. Back in 2011, those amortization schedules were amended as money was reappropriated for the Triangle project. The amounts at that time were $4 million for Eddy Street Commons and $2 million for the Triangle. The final costs are less than that. Eddy Street Commons, $3.9 million, and the Triangle Development Project, $1.5 million were actually spent on the project. We've settled up, and we know the exact cost. So now it's appropriate to finalize those amortization schedules, and that's what we're doing tonight. It's important for us to do that because this money is revenue for the Major Moves Fund. We've budgeted it for 2014. It'll provide money for future projects as we move into the future. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Council members, any questions? Thank you, Mr. Murphy. We'll now move to the public hearing portion. Is there anyone present wishing to speak in support of Bill 67-13? Seeing no one, is there anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Again, I see no one. The public hearing portion is now closed.
In favor of recommendation.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion, may I hear your vote? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. Bill 67-13 will be sent to the full council with a favorable recommendation. I'll entertain a motion to rise from the committee of the whole and report back to the full council. It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion? Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries.
Council now in session for the 43rd of 6513.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 4, Article 4 of the South Bend Municipal Code by the inclusion of new Section 4-21 entitled Clusters and Sidewalk Performance.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any against? Seeing none. Motion for the amended version. So moved. Second. Clerk 40.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Purley.
He's not here.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Purley.
Aye.
President Peters. That would be 7 ayes.
6813.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending Chapter 9, Article 5 of the South Bend Municipal Code, addressing hazardous materials and tactical rescue teams.
Move for the passage of Bill 68-13.
Second. Clerk Forty.
Mr. Henry Davis. Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. And President Dean.
Aye.
7 ayes.
7113.
7113, third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and city service operations in 2013 of $90,000 from Parks and Recreation Fund 201, $16 from Department of Community Investment Grant Fund 213, $675,000 from Liability Insurance and Premium Reserve Fund number 226, $750,000 from Loss Recovery Fund number 227, $37,378 from Human Rights Grants Fund 258, $30 from Economic Development Revenue Bond Fund 281, $450,000 from EMS Capital Improvement Fund 288, $475,000 from County Option Income Tax Fund number 404, $700,000 from Self-Funded Employee Benefit Fund number 711.
Move for the passage of Bill 71-13.
Second. Clerk Forty.
Dr. Furlick.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
President Davis. 8 ayes.
Thank you. 7213.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and enterprise operations in 2013, $294,344 from Solid Waste Fund 610, $84,000 from Solid Waste Depreciation Fund 611, $418,872 from Sewage Works General Operations Fund 641, $418,872 from Sewage Works Capital Fund 642, $13 from 2006 Sewer Bond Fund 645, $63 from 2007 Sewer Bond Fund 647, $699 from Clay Sewage Works Depreciation Fund 650, $113 from 2007B Sewer Bond Fund 651, $331 from 2010 Sewer Bond Fund 658, $2,100,000 from 2013 Sewer Bond Fund 663, and $215 from 2013 Sewer Refunding Bond Fund 644.
Move for the passage of Bill 72-13.
Second. Clerk Forty.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furlick. Aye. President Davis. 8 ayes.
7313.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana for budget transfers for various departments within the City of South Bend, Indiana for the year 2013.
Move for the passage of 7313.
Second. Clerk Forty.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Dr. Furlick.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
President Dean.
Aye.
8 ayes.
7413.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the 2013 salary ordinance number 10199-12 for appointed officers and non-bargaining employees of the City of South Bend, Indiana to address certain zoo employee compensation.
Move for the passage of Bill 7413.
Second.
Clerk Forty.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis.
Aye.
Dr. Furlick.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
President Dean.
Aye.
8 ayes.
7513.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending 2014 salary ordinance 10266-13 for appointed officers and non-bargaining employees of the City of South Bend.
A motion to amend this wasn't...
So moved. Second motion and a second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposition? No motion on the amended.
Move for the amended version. Second passed.
Clerk Forty.
Mr. Pruitt. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furley. Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Peters.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 76-13.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, amending the legal description and map within ordinance number 10165-12 to expand boundaries of the existing riverfront development project area under Indiana Code 7.1-3-20-16.
Move for the passage of Bill 7613.
Second.
Clerk Forty.
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furley. Aye. President Peters.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 67-13.
Third reading on a bill of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, setting the final interfund loan amortization schedules for Major Moves Fund 412, advances to the Northeast Residential TIF Fund 436 in connection with the Yeti Street Commons and Triangle Development Project.
Move for the passage of Bill 6713.
Second.
Clerk Forty.
Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furley.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. And President Peters.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. Proceed to Resolution 1381.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, approving a petition of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals for property located at 5117 South Ironwood Drive, South Bend, Indiana.
Thank you. We have a committee report.
DNA.
DNA met today and sends to the full council a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons.
Mark Lyons from Building Department, Officer located at 125 South Lafayette. This is a special exception request to add an additional cell phone tower at the Fairgrounds property. It was given public hearing at the November 6, 2013 meeting of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals and Committee and this favorable recommendation. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lyons? Seeing none, presenter. Short synopsis of your project, please.
Good evening. Shane Hennessy York, 2210 Midwest Road, Oak Brook, Illinois, here on behalf of the applicant Verizon Wireless. This is a proposal for a new wireless communication facility. Staff is currently recommending approval, and you can stand by for any questions or concerns you may have.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions from the council? All right, thank you. Anyone like to speak in favor or opposition? Members?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Good.
Move for the adoption. Move for the adoption. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Move for the adoption of Bill 1382.
Second.
81.
81. Thank you. Clerk Bordy.
Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furley. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry. And President.
Aye.
That would be 8 ayes.
1382.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend approving a petition of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at 1020 Webster Street, South Bend, Indiana.
Committee report
We send to the full council a favorable recommendation.
from zoning. Go ahead, Mr. Lyons.
Building Department, Officer 125 South Lafayette Boulevard. Demonstrated in public hearing on November 6, 2013 meeting of the Area Board of Zoning Appeals. This special exception request allow a transfer station at 1020 West Street. I was using unanimous favorable recommendation. I was able to contact Code Enforcement for a little more information on any licensing requirements. Code Enforcement indicated that if this is for their personal use only, meaning no
public or other entities permitted to drop materials at this location, they would have no license requirement. Their only licensing would be to the state for transportation. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
And the clear difference is the law changed since the last time
Yeah, and
we got in that issue.
Project 2004, the zoning was different for larger properties. In 2004, the ordinance changed, and a lot of that was taken out in the Pike area.
Okay.
All right, presenters, please.
President, members of council, my name is Stephen Studer. I'm an attorney for the Creek Office Officer 4101 Edison Parkway, Mishawaka, Indiana 46545. I'm here this evening with my Dan Turner Associates, and also tonight are Mr. William Cummings and James Kyle, who are owners of William Webster Street Holdings, known as General Services. This comes to you with a favorable staff recommendation, unanimous recommendation for zoning appeals, and a recommendation of the land use committee. Commenting on Mark's comment, this is not open to the public. This is only to consolidate our own waste that we pick up, demolition project, just consolidating it, not a recycling facility, as the question was raised. And so we would ask that you approve the recommendation.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, thank you, sir. Anyone like to speak in favor or opposition? Seeing none, council. Move the adoption of 1376. 1382 yet. 1382, I believe you meant. That's what I meant. Okay. Second. Clerk John Vordy.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Wells.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furlick. Aye. President Dieter.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to strike 1376. So moved. Request of the petitioner.
Second.
A motion, a second. All in favor of that? Aye. Opposition to that? Let's go to 1386.
Resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 1028 Notre Dame Avenue, as a residentially distressed area for purposes of a 5-year residential real property tax abatement for Mary Maria Jose Fernandez Marino and Francisco de Assis Martinez Perez.
Thank you. Need your name and address and a short synopsis of your project.
My name is Francisco de Assis Martinez Perez. I apologize, my wife is sick with the flu and she cannot join us today. And currently living in 5841, it's in Ashford Lane, Granger, Indiana. And our project is, we plan to build our residential home in 1028 Notre Dame Avenue. And it's planned to be a family house, a prairie style, and probably around 3,000 square feet, 7,000 square feet, I think. Depends on, my wife is negotiating with the that's something I don't really know.
That's good.
Anyway, so,
We understand. Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone like to speak in favor of this? No. Opposition? Council?
Move for the adoption of Bill 1376.
Second.
86?
86.
Vice President Davis.
Aye.
We got to get this
Councilmember Webb.
Aye.
Mr. Furlick. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furlick. Aye. Dr. Varner.
Aye. Cancel this.
President Dieter.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 1387.
A resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 215 North Sycamore Street, as an economic revitalization area for purposes of an 8-year real property tax abatement for East Bank South Bend Development, LLC.
Presenter, please.
Dave Matthews, 215 East Colfax Avenue, South Bend, Indiana. And we are building a mixed-use building with 12 apartments, condos, and ground floor retail in the same block as East Bank Town.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone like to speak in favor of this? Opposition? Council?
Move for the adoption of 1387.
Second. Mr. Wardy?
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furley. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner. Aye. Vice President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
And President Beal.
Aye.
8 ayes.
1388.
A resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 1106 20th Street, 1112 20th Street, and 2007 North Side Boulevard as an economic revitalization area for purposes of a 9-year real property tax abatement for Mecca Companies, Inc.
Presenter.
Peter J. Agostino, attorney at law, 131 South Taylor Street, South Bend, Indiana. Here on behalf of Mecca, also present is Tim Cook from Indianapolis. This involves a redo of 3 apartment buildings, going from 44 units to 66 units with about $3.7 million in investment, in addition to the acquisition of property which is already occurred.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone would like to speak in favor? Opposition? Council?
Move for the adoption of 1388.
Second. Mr. Wardy?
Mr. Furley. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Oliver.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President.
Aye.
8 ayes.
1389.
A resolution confirming the adoption of a declaratory resolution designating certain areas within the city of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 212 through 220 West Ewing Avenue as an economic revitalization area for purposes of a 7-year real property tax abatement for Deputy Enterprise, LLC.
Thank you. Presenter, please.
My name is Ben Silver. I'm the co-manager of Deputy Enterprises. Their address is 1228 East Jefferson in South Bend. This project is to rehabilitate and expand the facility that was much destroyed in a fire in November of 2012. It will not only rehabilitate the facility to its intended use of being a cold storage warehouse facility, but it will also expand the property to make it more efficient. The estimated project cost is $1,858,000. It will retain 23 existing jobs in the South Bend market at a payroll of $858,000, the addition of 2 additional employment positions for approximately another $65,000 to $70,000.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone like to speak in favor? Opposition? Council? Move the adoption of 1389.
Second.
Clerk Wardy?
Mr. Scott. Aye. Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Mr. Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furley.
Aye.
President Beal. 8 ayes.
1390.
A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend designating certain areas within the City of South Bend, Indiana, commonly known as 4701 Nips Parkway, an economic revitalization area for purposes of a 5-year personal property tax abatement for Schaefer Industries, Inc.
Stan Goyke, Executive Vice President, Schaefer Industries. We reside at 4701 Nims Parkway. We recently were awarded 2 programs from 2 existing customers, one in the truck industry, one in the recreational vehicle industry. And those 2 awards require 3 pieces of equipment, additional equipment, a total of $1.4 million. We will be hiring 5 individuals for these new positions, and we ask for a favorable recommendation.
Right, thank you, sir. Anyone like to speak in favor? Opposition? Council?
Move for the adoption of Bill 1390.
Second. Clerk Wardy?
Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. Dr. Furley.
Aye.
Dr. Varner.
Aye.
Vice President Oliver Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Furley. Aye. Mr. Scott. Aye. And President Beal.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. 1391.
The resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, calling for more detailed information and multiple options from the city administration so that the Common Council has the opportunity to make the most informed decision possible in determining the most just and equitable fees for services rendered by the sewage works.
I think earlier the pros and cons were discussed of this particular bill.
Yes, in the Utility Committee.
And then what happened?
And then we bring this to the full council with favorable report.
Thank you, Vice President Davis.
This is future.
Utilities.
Joint Committee and Public Works.
Okay, thank you again.
Okay. I'm on board.
Dr. Varner, I believe you're the presenter.
Thank you, Mr. President. The summary read by Mr. Bordy pretty well covers the concern that we have as council members. Concerned not only about rates, but concerned about the future of the city of South Bend with regards to our competitiveness, with regards to our water and sewer rates. In the event that as a result of a project or as a result of poor planning or lack of planning or lack of adequate controls, we find ourselves unable to land major industrial and development facilities because of the lack of either ability to treat the water or rates which would be so great people would not see us as a viable option. As a result of that, I guess we've written a somewhat verbose resolution, but I think it was important to do that in order to get all the important things on the table. A resolution of the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, calling for more detailed information and multiple options from the City of South Bend, so the Common Council has the opportunity to make the most informed decision possible, determining the most just and equitable, which is our statutory responsibility, fees for services rendered by the sewage works. Whereas the South Bend Common Council notes that on December 29, 2011, the United States Attorney's Office and the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency issued a news release from Hammond, Indiana, entitled City of South Bend, Indiana Settlement, where they announced that the City of South Bend, Indiana has agreed to make an estimated $509.5 million worth of improvements to its combined sewer system to significantly reduce overflows of raw sewage to the St. Joseph River, which is now projected to cost approximately $667 million. And whereas the news release noted that the combined sewer overflows, CSOs, resulted in discharge of pollutants without a permit, and therefore was in violation of Section 301 of the Clean Water Act, Title 33, United States Code, I guess that's item 1311? Section 1311, and whereas the news release further noted that the consent decree was entered into, which requires the City of South Bend to implement a long-term control plan by 2031, which included upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant and improvements to the collection system, in light of the fact that over 2 billion gallons of untreated sewage was being discharged into the St. Joseph River, not knowing that it was being diluted by fresh rainwater, and would require the city to reduce by 95% the 80 events of discharge to a total of 4 event discharges. Whereas no member of the South Bend Common Council was involved in the actual negotiations leading up to the consent decree, and whereas the South Bend Common Council acknowledges that the Indiana General Assembly has given the municipal legislative bodies the authority to establish just and equitable fees for services rendered by the sewage works, and provide the dates in which those fees are due, pursuant to the passage of an ordinance consistent with Indiana Code Section 36, 9, 23, 25, I guess Sections A and. Whereas on June 28, 2010, the South Bend Common Council passed ordinance number 10,019-10, which became effective July 10, 2010, raised the sewer rates by an average of 9% per year, with the rates being codified in the South Bend Municipal Code. And whereas the Common Council notes that the Municipal Code Section 1725 requires the city administration to begin discussions with the Common Council by June of 2013 with regard to any revisions and adjustments to the sewer rates to assure adequacy in the cost of maintaining the city's sewer works in sound physical condition and financial condition necessary to render adequate and effective service. Whereas the sewer rates set forth in South Bend Municipal Code Section 1725 remain in effect until the action taken by the council. And whereas on October 14, 2013, Bill 6413 was filed by the administration, which seeks to adjust sewer rates and charges incrementally to 2017 and seeks another 9% rate increase compounded annually for the next 4 years. Whereas a series of utility committee meetings have been held as part of the council's due diligence requirements in determining just and equitable fees. However, discussions with the city administration began well after the June date set forth in the city code. And whereas in light of the need for additional information and data on proposed sewage rate increases, as well as what appears to be conflicting information provided by the information with regard to the over 60-page consent decree, Bill number 6314 was continued in the council portion of the public hearing to January 27, 2014. So the city administration would have the opportunity to provide more detailed information and a variety of rate options for the council to debate, discuss, analyze, and consider. Whereas, since the consent decree was entered into, there have been articles noting the EPA is willing to consider negotiating consent decrees, with one of those articles being published in the June 5th, 2012 edition of Governing magazine entitled Mayors Question EPA Consent Decrees, where several mayors contend that there is a potential to cause financial stress for local governments and their residents. And another article published August 1st, 2012, noting that the tough economy might be taking its toll, might be making the agency more flexible, with the information being specifically shared with the city administration. Whereas the Common Council notes that the consent decrees which has resulted in modifications were based on new and relevant information which improved remedies and were from the cities of Indianapolis, Indiana, Toledo, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia, Honolulu, Hawaii. And whereas the Common Council believes that the city of South Bend, Indiana has taken substantial steps and taken many good faith efforts to upgrade the sewage treatment plant in efforts to reduce raw sewage discharges. With the passage of rate increases, such as those in 2003 of 24%, a 29% rate increase in 2005, a 15% rate increase in 2007, an 11% rate increase for 2009, and a 9% rate increase for each year thereafter through 2013. Whereas the Common Council believes that all viable options should be investigated in light of the local economy and its impact on the ability to pay higher rates and charges. Whether the most recent population base used reflects the actual population law, whether the Michigan water standards are required or optional, and whether related issues, especially since no past or current Common Council member was involved in discussions leading to the consent decree entered into by the City of South Bend. Now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, as follows. Section 1. The Common Council hereby believes that in order to establish just and equitable fees for the services rendered by the sewage works, that all the reasonable options should be analyzed, carefully studied, and debated before moving forward on raising current sewage rates set forth in the Municipal Code, Article 1721. Section 2, the Common Council further believes that in order to carry out statutory duties, with the primary one being fiscal responsibility, that all viable and legitimate options should be offered by the city administration and that they may be properly vetted. Section 3, the Common Council believes that an equitable sewer rate increase for 2014 is warranted so long as it is based on current factual data, which is in compliance with the applicable provisions of the South Bend Municipal Code, the Indiana Code, and the Consent Decree. However, Common Council further believes that the city administration should carefully review all possible alternatives, including potential modifications of the current consent decree, with that review beginning post-haste, so discussions between the administration and the council can begin in early January 2014. Section 4, this resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its adoption by the council and approval by the mayor. We have 4 co-signees in addition to myself. Dr. Fred Perlich, 4th District, Valerie Shea, 3rd District, Oliver Davis, District 2. 6. Mr. Davis.
All right, he's done? Is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Anyone like to speak in favor of this?
Good evening, Mayor. People to Judge Austin on the 14th floor of this building. I wanted to take this opportunity to convey that the administration appreciates and supports the spirit of this resolution from the council. I recognize that the council, like the administration, is trying to make sure that we meet 2 sets of goals. One is to make sure that we have good river quality, that we don't have sewage going into the river more than can be avoided, that we don't have water backing up into basements, and that we're in adequate compliance with federal law. On the other hand, making sure we're keeping rates as low as possible, of support for 2 reasons. First, the effect that it has on residents, particularly low-income residents in the city of South Bend. And secondly, making sure that we remain competitive. I do applaud the work that the Public Works team has done to devise plans that would position South Bend
in a competitive context among peer cities. Also recognize that more can be done. So we want to continue to seek ways to drive the future anticipated cost of this program down, specifically through two paths. One having to do with technology and value engineering in order to drive down the total cost. The second having to do, at appropriate times, with revisiting the negotiated agreement with the federal government that lays out our commitments and requirements. Precisely in order to keep rates low, we believe that we need to make sure that we are acting at an appropriate time, recognizing that there are some elements in the plan which take place relatively far into the future and are especially sensitive to possible future technological development, while there are other elements of the plan involving upgrades to the wastewater treatment plants and other sewer upgrades that need to take place soon, need to take place no matter what, and need to be financed adequately. Bearing in mind that adequate action now may be the best thing we can do to make sure that rates in 2 or 4 or 6 or 10 years don't wind up being higher than they need to be. And in particular, making sure that we have as our shared aim, ensuring that we do not again see over the life of this kind of plan the kind of double-digit rate increases that the presenter mentioned have been experienced in recent years by the city. We recognize that there are many ways to meet our goals, and the administration welcomes the dialogue that is unfolding between the council and our public works staff on the cost, the technology, the engineering, the financing, and many alternatives that may be available over the life of this program. I think we all recognize that doing nothing is not an option, and I think we can all recognize that doing something together is the opportunity for us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else in favor of this? Opposition? Council?
I'd just like to state to the public that this consent decree was signed in 2011 before the current administration came aboard or the current council. So I've been very pleased with the receptiveness of Mark Neal and Eric Horvath, and especially under the leadership of Dave Varner, as far as communication on this $600 million project, which has to be reined in. So I just want to compliment both the negotiating teams.
So that's favorable, correct?
Correct.
All right. Second. Clerk Wardy.
Dr. Pruitt.
Aye.
Dr. Varner. Aye. Vice President Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Mr. Perlich.
Aye.
Mr. Scott. Aye. And Mr. Henry Davis. Aye. And President Dean.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Thank you. First reading is 7813.
Thank you. First reading on a bill of the County Council of the City of South Bend, Indiana, appropriating additional funds for certain departmental and city services operations in 2013 of $500,000 from self-funded employee benefit fund at number 711.
Make a motion move 7813 to Personnel Finance.
For when?
December 16th.
Very good.
The special meeting.
For a special meeting then.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposition to that? 7913.
First reading on a bill to vacate the following described property. The street to be vacated is a portion of Hildreth Street from the east right-of-way of Esther Street to the end of existing cul-de-sac for a distance of 460 feet, more or less, and a width of 60 feet, including 60-foot radius of the cul-de-sac.
Make a motion to move 7913 to Personnel Finance for December 16th special.
No. That goes to Public Works and Property Vacation for 11314. Second. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Any opposition to that? Thank you. Any unfinished business?
Yes, sir, really quick. Mark Neal, and something that I think we missed out. When we had the young ladies in here from that did softball, that won the World Series, someone brought to my attention that we have usually reserved like some of those honors for those gates to the city, where we have those small circle plaques that are fixated on the gates. and they're usually on like a 2-year term, maybe, or a 3-year term, if I'm not mistaken.
I know what you're talking about. They're the ones you find in the gateways. The Kiwanis is on there, and the club's on there.
Is there any way, because they are like World Series champions, not like the MLB World Series champions, but the World Series champions are actually world. Is there any possible way that we can potentially put those on those gates? Let's find out. Yeah, because
We used to do that.
Yeah, we used to do that, and so I just want to make sure we make good on that one, because that's big. Big deal.
All right, thank you. Any new business before this council? You have new business? Go ahead.
Just real quick, you saw that I did a presentation via Apple TV, which is up and running in the council, and I'd like to look to schedule more refresher courses for council members on Apple TV.
Okay, thank you. All right, privilege of the floor. Anybody wants to talk to us at this time about something we have not covered in the last couple hours, you may do so by going up to the podium. We need your name and address for the record. If there's something specific that you want this council to follow up, you need to get a form filled out and give that to Clerk Woody. Tim Scott, the representative of the fine First District of the City of South Bend, will help you. Once you begin speaking, you have 3 minutes.
I will give you a 30-second warning.
Go ahead.
Christopher Huff, 1831 College Street, South Bend. For many years, there seems to be a sentiment here in my home city that we can't do that, or we shouldn't do that, or we're not good enough to do that, or we're too small to do that, or not big enough to do that. One thing, I hope you all understand this, and I'm singing to the choir, I apologize, but our city does not exist in a vacuum. And when a project is proposed for this city, or the city I used to work for, which is immediately east of here, which is only about 49,000 people, that those cities do not exist in a vacuum. Now, although the population of our city, South Bend, is about where it was about 1932, unfortunately, nonetheless, we're still the largest population base within the whole metropolitan area. Now, that still means that we are only 1 out of every 7 people in this economic area. In fact, the consolidated metropolitan area has 713,000 people. So South Bend City is about 101,000 in an area of 713,000. So when a proposal is made about condominiums or restaurants or hotels or whatever, it doesn't mean it's just going to serve the city of South Bend. It's going to serve the entire metropolitan area. And yes, we do have 3 large sections of our city that are in great distress, unfortunately. But folks that support a lot of these businesses are not just coming from the city of South Bend. They're coming from this entire metropolitan region, which incidentally, just as a reminder, is in fact the 2nd largest economic center in the state of Indiana. So I say these because I do not want us to have any more of an attitude of self-inflicted failure. Okay? I say this as a supporter of the community, and just to remind the public of this simple fact: we are 1 out of every 7 people in this entire region. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would ask the council members. I'm sorry. Peter Robert. I live at 2617 Frederickson Street, South Bend. Before I begin, I want to ask the council, since I am the last one, if they would give me 1 extra minute to speak. I just request at least 4 minutes, if that's possible.
Okay, so we need a motion. So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposition?
Now, I got a lot to speak, so I'm going to go in. I October of this year, I filed 2 complaints, one with the mayor's office and another with the city of South Bend. And with those complaints, I wanted to determine if indeed there was misconduct committed by either Chief Teachman or Lieutenant Ross. And with those complaints, Chief Teachman agreed to, I guess, have Captain Schweitzer investigate Lieutenant Ross to determine if any misconduct was done. December 5th, I had a meeting with Captain Schweitzer, and we went over the details of that investigation that he completed. In that investigation, I spoke directly with him, and he stated to me that through his investigation, Lieutenant Ross was found not guilty of violation of the duty manual. But during that conversation, he indirectly stated that Teachman was in violation of the duty manual. Here's why. Chief Teachman ordered Lieutenant Ross to go to the King Center to collect evidence where he was the sole defendant in a complaint of misconduct. That is considered interfering. Let me say that again. Chief Teachman ordered a subordinate officer to use his position as chief of police to order a subordinate to go to the King Center to collect evidence where he was the primary, the sole defendant in the complaint of misconduct. You remember several months ago, they accused me of doing the same thing at 7-Eleven. I heard of misconduct that was committed by 2 other officers. I went to 7-Eleven, spoke about that with the clerks, and attempted to secure video footage of the tape showing the misconduct of the officers. I was prosecuted by the city of South Bend, served a 4-month suspension. Chief Teachman did the same thing. And guess what? The mayor said he was not guilty. There's a but there. They told me that yes, he's guilty, but his intent was to do the right thing. He violated the duty manual, but his intent was to do the right thing. Therefore, we find that he did not violate the duty manual. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call unfair. They say, yes, he did it, but his intent was to do the right thing. Well, my intent was to do the right thing as well. I heard of misconduct. I attempted to do the right thing by getting the evidence to my supervisors. I was accused of violating the duty manual. Our chief of police did the same thing. Captain Schweitzer investigated it. He has the report. This is what he stated to me. But the mayor, and I gave you guys copies of the documentation that I wrote back to him, stated that we find him not guilty. 30 seconds. Thank you. I'm not here to ask for an investigation. This is just an FYI. This is what's going on. This is what happened. Our chief of police violated the duty manual. I have nothing against Chief Teachman. Again, as usual, it's about fairness with me. Fairness to make sure that all other officers within the South Bend Police Department don't have to go through what I went through. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak to us at this time?
Jesse Davis, P.O. Box 10205, South Bend, Indiana. I wasn't even going to come up and say anything tonight, but after hearing Mr. Roberts talk, I was compelled to come up here. I mean, I came in front of the council numerous times, not only because of some of the issues with the chief, a case I filed with the chief, myself, with the police, back in May, that's still not solved. And I commend the council every time I came up here. I put in a privilege of the floor. I appreciate the letters I get back from the council and the attorneys. But this is the type of double standard and selective enforcement that many citizens have come up here and talked about. Many city employees come up here and talk about. And it's about time that somebody really does some digging into this stuff and get to the bottom of it so we can solve all of this corruption that we got going on here.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wants to talk to us at this time? Seeing none, we are done. Thanks for showing up there, Lieutenant Kendall.